Just wanted to show you all. I got this radiator out of the Buick LeSabre, and as you can see, there's the catastrophic failure right there. That's what caused everything. That's what caused the overheat. So that thing is obviously shot. I wanted to show you another thing too. This is in case y'all ever had to do one of these. This airbox, if you don't know what you're doing, this airbox is a little bit of a booger to get out of here. You see, you got three pieces. There's 1, 2, and 3, and it goes in that order. This one goes first. It goes from your intake here, comes over to the box, okay? And then you got the next piece, which is this piece right here that sits in the front. Now you see those clips right there? Those clips bolt this box to that box. So you got to take that piece off first, then you got to unbolt them pieces, take that piece out, and those are both pretty easy. Then you get to this piece. This piece here is it's pretty easy if you know what you're doing. So your PCM, your car's computer, it sits inside there. So you got to take that out, and that's just a couple clips. It'll pop right out. And then you sit there with that box wondering what in the fool is holding that thing up, because it just won't come out. But right here, see that hole right there? It's got a little plastic grommet, kind of like that one, that sticks to the bottom of the box, and it sticks down in that hole. And it just will not come out until you take a pry bar to it and pry up underneath it, and then it'll pop right out. So if y'all are ever having a problem removing the airbox, that's how you do it on a 2005 Buick LeSabre. Alright, here we are back on this Buick Lacrosse. I was saying LeSabre earlier. This is not a LeSabre, it's a Lacrosse. Anyway, I took that headlight out so that I can replace it with the other one, and then I'm going to clean them up, do a headlight restore. As you can tell, this thing's running. In order to put these motor mounts back in, I had to have somebody sit in the car with the brake on and put it in reverse, and it lined them up pretty well. Didn't have to fight them after that. But anyway, got this thing back together, back running. So far, it's not running hot or anything. The fans haven't even kicked on yet. It's been running for a while. I'm actually going to take this thing down the road. I did put some air in that tire back there that was flat. Just until I can get this thing to a tire shop. But I'm going to take it down the road and test drive it, see how it does. Feel pretty confident that the only thing that was wrong was that cracked radiator. I tested the fans while I had them out. They were good, they worked. So I'm going to take this thing down the road and then we'll see what's going on. So the last time I fired this thing up, this Buick Lacrosse, and I kept calling, I think I kept calling it an 08, it's an 05. I just looked up the paperwork. Anyway, it's an 05 Buick Lacrosse. I kept calling it a LeSabre also. But anyway, it's a 2005 Buick Lacrosse. And the last time I cranked this thing up, it just wasn't running right. It didn't sound right, didn't feel right. And, you know, I got this thing at auction, so I don't know everything that's going on with the car. I'm just kind of, you know, going as is, replacing one thing and then, you know, seeing how everything is. You know, because originally the radiator was busted, so I couldn't even drive the thing to find out what else might have been wrong with it. Anyway, it had cylinder misfire number 6, so I tracked it down to these coil packs here, and all I did was I had the car running, and I took my pliers and I just pulled each, you know, just one spark plug wire off at a time until, you know, I found out whether it affected the way the car ran or not. Well, you could see when I did that, when I pulled one of them off, you'd have spark jumping every which way. So I put it back down, so that meant that the coil pack was working the way it should, and it also affected the way the car ran. So I knew that that wasn't the problem. Until I got to number 6. I pulled it off, no spark jumped anywhere, it didn't change the way the car ran. So I knew that meant that the number 6 coil pack was bad. So I bought, you know, a whole set of them. I'm replacing them now. As you can see right here, there's one bolt here and there's one bolt here, so just one on each side, and they just lift right off. And I'll show you what a new one looks like here on the bottom. This is the new one, so they're sitting like this. So you got one bolt on each side, and then on the back side, see them two little blades on each side of that hole where it mounts? All you do is stick it right down on top of the blade. So I'll show you with this one, because I'm about to pull this one off. I'll show you. Alright, so all I did is finish taking that one bolt out, and that's what you have. So see these, you got two blades right here, one there, one there. So all this does is sits right down on top of that. Basically plugs in. You gotta make sure you get it right and don't bend those blades. And that's it. And then you put your two bolts back in, one on that side, one on this side, and put your spark plug wires back on there, and that's it. And I'm just replacing one at a time, so I don't have to mark the spark plugs, or, you know, these are numbered, but and they seem to be right, but that's the way I do it. I do just one at a time, so I make sure I don't get lost, you know, and I don't have to go tracking the wires down, or, you know, have a problem with that. So, but I'm gonna finish this up, get this last two coil packs put in, or, you know, tightened down, and then we'll go on from there.